Hi, Paul Sackis, Good News Broadcast, speaking of Brad Berger. Hi, Brad, how are you?
Good morning, Paul.
Look forward to talking with you here about Aim High, and that's in capital letters, Aim High. And the book is a guidance to teens, okay? Well, that's great. All righty, tell us about it.
Well, when my son was 12 years old in 7th grade, I looked at the way he was acting, and I looked at the way his friends were acting, and I looked at how they got their messages. And the messages back then, 12 years ago, were coming from the computer, were coming from video games, coming from television, movies, a lot of violence, a lot of sex, inappropriate stuff, and they were negative. And I said to myself, well, I mean, what is going to counteract all these negative messages to the children? And I sat down, I looked through the internet, I looked through bookstores, and looked for a book for teenagers that they would read that would be positive messages. And there was nothing out there. And there were books that were long, regular books, and tedious, and no 7th grade boy was going to read them. So that was the end of that. And I sat down with a friend one day, and we started talking. He had a son also who's in high school, and we started writing Aim High. We put down, things we thought that teenagers should know to be successful in school and high school. And most of the tips in the books are axioms, which are principles that most people will agree with. So these are tried and true lessons, principles, tips that if a teenager with his or her mind changing chemically and physically during the teenage years, 7th grade, starts reading these messages that are positive and that will help them, then the hope is that these are seeds that will later grow as they grow.
Okay, what are some of these tips?
Well, the first tip is the most important, which is think. Think before you do something. Consider the alternatives before you act. Careful thinking produces the best results. As most parents of teens know, that teens react quickly. They're not thinking. Before you're finishing the sentence, they're already at no. So what we're saying is, okay, you could say no eventually, but think before you say no. Think about the alternatives. Another tip is goals. Develop your goals. Goals are what you want to achieve. Make a plan and imagine yourself achieving your goals. Your imagination and your work each day will help you achieve your goals. Persistence. Persistent people accomplish what they set out to do. They act consistently until they reach a goal. Persistent people achieve their goals. We have one on sleep. And this is one the teenagers love. Get enough sleep. Teenagers need more sleep than adults. Doctors recommend that teens get between 10 and 12 hours of sleep each night. Teenagers physically need extra sleep. Well, that's when the teenager has the book, they can throw it at their parents on a Saturday or Sunday morning and see, hey, the book says sleep.
Well, they're coming out with a lot of good things, and I'm a grandpa now.
Oh.
And I'm thinking my grandson goes to bed around 7 and he gets up around 8 the next day, right?
Right.
And they say that scientifically what you're saying, I believe, is so accurate that the little kids need a ton of sleep, right?
Oh, a ton.
And it doesn't end. In fact, a concerning thing is that they said cell phones, because the brain is not developed. Even when I talk to the drug czar of this country, Waters, he always says young people, their brains are growing, and that's why it's a terrible time for them to be into any kind of drugs, prescription, whatever crazy kids, are taking.
That's right.
Because the brain is not formulated yet. And it takes, to the mid-20s or something before that's it. That's all we got left.
So you really want to get those seeds in there early so they're repeated. Our goal is to have this book eventually given out by a foundation or a corporation for free to 3.5 million 7th graders each year.
Great.
And it should come with their first day package, for school. And then they will be told to keep the book. They'll use it again in junior high school and hopefully again in high school. By repeating the different tips in the book, hopefully they will sink in, and as the brain changes, physically the child changes, and these will already be embedded as seeds in their mind.
Now, you personally, a little background on you. You say you named New York super lawyer, New York 2007, 2008, and selected the American Trial Lawyers Top 100 Trial Lawyers 2008. Okay, but you are a member of the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. Yeah. Okay, so there is a writing passion. Did you write children's books as well?
No. This is, again, a labor of love, as I would say, because it is a book that I saw there was a need for. Right now, I have another child, a girl, Amanda, who's in 7th grade, started it, and I see that, again, she needs this book. Her friends need this book. They have to learn how to act. I grew up in New York City, went to junior high school, 135 in the Bronx. When I went to junior high school, we wore ties each day. That was a requirement. Mm-hmm. We didn't talk when we changed classes. Okay, times have changed. What I find is that there's a lack of civility among teenagers. Everyone complains about it, but no one's doing anything about it. I decided, and with my co-author, that we wanted to tackle this problem.
I think it's a great idea, and I agree entirely with you. In fact, we're putting up a story today about manners. These are lost arts.
I'll give you just a quick anecdote about manners. Like I said, my 7th grader, she sits at the dinner table, food's flying, she's using her hands. I said, Amanda, could you please use your manners? And she says, I use my manners. I always use them when I'm not with you. Okay. Or out of the house. So we went to visit a friend who made dinner for us the other day, Sunday, and she's sitting there, and she's eating with everything but her feet. and I look at her and I say, Amanda, you sure use those manners. But again, the book talks about manners. It talks about avoid using rude words that hurt someone's feelings. So think about it before you curse someone out and you're mean. Those are important things. Paul, I'd just like to mention that the book is only exclusively available right now on Amazon.com. It's not in bookstores. So if someone wants to get the book, okay, they have to go to Amazon.com. The easiest way is to put in 3 words, AIM, then high, H-I-G-H, and then, not a word, but the number 101. They'll take them to the book page. They'll see sample pages of the book, etc. The book is $12. Hopefully, again, one day someone will give it out for free. I also have a website, which is Aim High 101 Tips, T as in Tom, I, P as in Paul, S as in Sam.com. Again, there's a link to Amazon, but if a group, let's say a group of parents for a parent-teacher organization, wanted to buy the book, they can buy quantities at a discounted price. My email is there. They can contact me, and I'll be glad to work out a price that's appropriate for a group.
Okay, Brad, I know you got a live interview right next. Thank you very much. Should be making a video and TV show out of this. A lot of great things. I'll talk to you again. I like this stuff.
I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for sharing good news. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.